Hey, welcome back. In the last video, we went ahead and we added the ability to pull up a contact picker view controller, which is basically pulling up your contacts within another view so that you could view that within your application rather than going to your contacts app. And now what we want to do is we want to be able to pull the information from that contact view and pull that information into our app. So there's two things we need to do here, or three things actually. The first thing is we need to create the labels that the information that we're pulling from the contacts will replace. So in this example, we're just going to use a first name and the phone number. And the reason why I chose phone number is because I had a little bit of a difficult time at first extracting the phone number and figuring out how to do that. So I want to show you what I found and how I went about doing that. And then after we implement the labels, we need to implement the methods that allow us to go ahead and pull that information from the contact view, and then we need to place that information into those labels. In order to do that, we need to have those labels be adder accessors so we can access them throughout the class. So let's go ahead and let's jump into the load view and let's implement the labels. So the first one is going to be for your first name. And this is going to be a UI label. So if I go back to documentation, it's going to be a UI label. And we're going to take that right here. And we're just going to create a new label like that. And the first name, and if you remember how to set the label, the first name text. So to set the label text, you choose text. And then you can go ahead and you can write in first name here, and that's I'll just go ahead and put that, and I'll change this to single quotes, just a preference here. You can use double quotes or single quotes, doesn't matter. Then first name frame, so we're going to make sure that this shows up on our screen. So the frame here, we're going to set that to, I like 20 from the edge, and then we're going to set it, because this button is 200 down, we're going to set this to 100 down, and this needs to be in its own separate array. So it's going to have two arrays in here for the frame. Now we're going to go get the height and the width. So it's the width first, and then the height, we'll just set that label to 30. So that looks good to me. Next, we got to add that to our view by using the add subview, and we just pass in the first name. Now we can do the same thing for the phone number. So I'm just going to copy most of this information here, and I will replace first name, and I'll change that to phone number. And then what we need to do is, remember, we need to access this throughout the class because we're going to be setting up some methods that allow you to pick it from the contact picker view controller. So we're going to head up here underneath the class line, and we're going to set adder accessor, and we're going to set the first name and the phone number up here. Okay, so we'll save that. Then what we'll do is we'll change these instance of first name. We'll add an @ sign in front of them to make them an instance variable. And we'll change the phone number as well. Okay, so that's going to work out perfectly. You'll notice that they're associated because if I go ahead and click on first name, it's highlighting this as well. If I click on phone number, it's highlighting it up here. And that's just one of the great things about using RubyMine. And so next, we need to set up those two methods. The first one is going to be contact picker. So if I do define contact picker, and the second one you can see here is contact picker did cancel. So we'll set up contact picker. And what we need to do is, if I look up contact picker in our documentation, we're going to do the did select contact. And so we'll take this information here and we'll just throw it up in a comment right here so we can use that as an example. So what we need to do is we need to pass through a picker. So we need to pass through a parameter, and this parameter will the system, the app, will pass in this for you so you could use the picker within your method. Then we need to use did cancel, and I like to just copy this. Did cancel and contact. Okay, so you need to set up just like that. And then we need to set up the cancel. So if they go ahead and decide to cancel by choosing on the cancel button, so did contact picker did cancel. If we're going to documentation, we'll take a look at this. So contact picker did cancel, and all we need to do is pass through the picker So if I set this up here, I'll show you exactly what I mean, is pass through the picker parameter. So that's what we have passed through. Now I'll go ahead and I'll close out that method. Now once this view gets pulled up, if we select one of the contacts from there, so if I just comment this out so I can show you, I'll run the simulator right now and I'll show you exactly what I mean. What the contact picker will do is once you select it, it'll pass through that contact. It'll pass through the picker and the contact, and then you can use those within this method. Now, if you click on cancel, which will be in the upper right-hand corner, it'll go ahead and use this method. So here's what I mean. If I go to more, contacts, view contacts, what will happen is if I click on cancel, it'll actually fire this method. And then if I click on one of the contacts here, instead of opening up the contact, it'll run the code that's within there. So what we'll do is I'll just cancel out of that. And you'll notice first name is showing here, but we're not seeing phone number. So it's a good thing we went ahead and ran this. We want to change this label here from first name here to phone number here. Then we're going to move this down to 150 and we'll save that. Now before I fire this up again, we'll go ahead and just uncomment that. And what we want to do here is we want to grab the contact information and want to set it into the first name label. So what we'll do is we'll get the first name dot text, and then we're going to set it to the contact, and it's going to be the given name. And we can verify that if we go into Safari here. I pulled up the contacts framework reference, and this can be found within your iOS developer library. If you scroll down here, you'll see that contact.givenName will give you the value of the first name, and the contact family name will give you the value of the last name. So we're going to take that given name, we'll go back into our editor, and we'll make sure that that is what is set. So I'll just copy this, and I'll go back in there. That way I don't have any typos. And so once this runs, it'll set that label to the given name. Now we have to go in there and change the phone number as well. Let me go ahead and style that better. The way I found out how to get the phone number is that we need to check if there's a phone number key. So we're going to set an if statement here. Let's go back into our documentation, and let's look up is key available. And this is basically what you have to run. So if contact is key available for the CN contact phone number key, so we'll take this if statement here, and let me just paste that in. I'll take away the parentheses or the second parentheses, and I'll take away the first one here. So it should look similar to this. And then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create another line. Make sure you close this statement out. And now that we've checked to make sure it's there, it shouldn't crash if a phone number is not available for that contact. So what we'll do is we'll set the phone number dot text. Okay, we're going to pull it into that label text, and then we're going to set this to the contact dot, and if we go back into our documentation, phone numbers. And this is going to basically give us an array of phone numbers. So we're going to choose the first phone number in that array. And then what we'll do is we'll get out of that first phone number, we'll get the value from it. So that's going to give us the value of the phone number. And then we want the value to be the string value. Okay, and so what I'll do is I'll place this. So I'll put S, place that into the console. So I'll just go ahead and copy this right here, and I'll put that into our console down here when it gets run and it gets pulled. Now after we pull that, we want to dismiss this view controller, this picker view controller. So let's go in the documentation to figure out how we could go ahead and dismiss that. Well, if we go to contact picker view controller, let's see, click on contact view view controller. And actually, let's just go up in here and type in dismiss. Dismiss view controller animated with complete. Okay, so this I believe is the right one that we want. So we'll take that and we will, of course, place it in a comment. And then what we'll do is we will self.dismiss view controller animated. Do we want it animated? Yes. So true. Completion, I'll just set that to nil. Okay. And actually, we need to set this for both this method and this method. And then what I'll do for this one is I'll put as contact picker canceled, and that'll go ahead and I'll place that into our console. So let me double check this. We got the first name, then we got the phone number getting chosen, and then we have this being placed into our console. And then of course we're dismissing them both after these methods are run. Okay, so great. So let's just try to rerun that, and it should work as expected. So what we're expecting is for those first name and phone number labels to be replaced with the actual contact information. So we'll go to contacts. So we're expecting the first name and phone number to be changed. We'll go view contacts, and boom, we have Kate with the first phone number on her phone numbers array is showing up there. And we can actually change this. So if I click on it again, we can change it to David. Click on it again, we can change it to John Appleseed. And each time you're seeing that within the console, we're having the phone number displayed. And I read online in Stack Overflow that you can actually ignore this plugin right here, this message. But feel free to look that up for yourself if you're receiving that, just so you know a little bit more about it. And that should wrap up this video. This basically shows you how to go ahead and grab the contacts information and place that into your app, so you can do things like sending this person an SMS message or maybe an invite or something like that to their email, their phone number. The implications are unlimited, of course. So I hope this video helps. I will see you guys in the next one, and thanks so much for watching.